Okay, so I'm quickly going to show you how to track your food in Myfitnesspal. So if you go to the homepage of Myfitnesspal and you go to the More section at the bottom, this is on your phone, go to the goals, and you should already have an idea of what goal your goal is in general, so what your calories should be. So if you're trying to lose weight, you should have figured out what your estimated calorie intake should be. So say for example mine is 2000 at the minute. What I'm going to go into is go to the protein first. Don't bother looking at the percentages as such. You want to be looking at the grams below the names there, the carbs, protein, fat. First one you figure out is protein. You take your weight in kilograms, kg, and multiply by a minimum of say 2 grams per kg of body weight. So if I'm 72 kilos, I'm going to multiply that by 2, which is about 144 grams of protein per day. Now, I got 150 grams there, 175 or 125, so I'm going to go with 150 grams because there's no harm going a bit above 2 grams per kg of body weight. And then the next thing I'm going to figure out is the fat, and this is quite easy because you want to keep the fat in your diet no matter what your calories are to a minimum of 25%. I like to keep my fat a little bit higher, so I like to go with around 30%, so that's already set there. So 30% is from fat. I figured out my protein and that equals to 30% of my calories. The last one then is carbs, and you just do the remaining as carbs. So there that happens to work out as 30-30 and then 40 for carbohydrates. So that will be what my day will look like as broken down. 150 grams of protein, 67 grams of fat, and 200 grams of carbs. Press correct, then you go back. Then you will go back out, and I want you to go into steps, and you want to don't track steps because I prefer to calculate your calories taking into account your exercise rather than allowing the iPhone to track the steps, which then just messes up your calories and confuses people. So then you go into diary, and say you go to breakfast and you'll have your common breakfast here. So say for example I have standard for me eggs, so I'll go into eggs, 2 large, so 1 large egg is about 72 calories. That's right now, and it has the green tick, and that's normally when it's verified, or it should be at least. So you should know that an egg is about 72 calories, and that's about right. 6.3 grams protein, 4.8 grams of fat. So if I'm having 2 eggs, I'll put that in like that. Unless I'm frying them, that should be correct for me. So say I'm poaching them or boiling them, they're not adding any fats as such. So that's what my calories from eggs is going to be. Then, for example, say I normally have Mesta Masher whole rye bread, and I'll have 1 piece, which is 120 calories. I'll add that in. Another thing that you can do is add a food and go to the barcode here, and that will open up. So say for example, I'll just take this drink I have beside me. If I put that in as a barcode, I'm a little bit dark here. 2 eggs, piece of rye bread. So say I toast the rye bread, and I might have some butter. So I normally have Kerrygold, and I normally have the unsalted version. So I'll probably have 2 teaspoons. Add that in. So that's my eggs on toast with butter. I will normally try and have some greens as well, so I might add some spinach. So 1 cup of baby spinach, so that's half of 2 cups, 1 cup obviously. Add that in. So I've added in the breakfast there, as you can see. So it's eggs with rye bread toasted, some butter and spinach. So then if you go down then and go to your lunch, I'm just going to add in random foods here so you can see what I'm doing. So now if I go to chicken breast, I'm going to go into this one, chicken breast raw, and it's per raw weight. Now this is something that I try and get my clients to do, is make sure you weigh or you check the packaging of your meats, and you use the raw weights when you're entering them into your food diary. So I know that normally the chicken that I buy, there's about 3 chicken breasts in a pack, and the total pack is 450 grams. So I'm going to be eating the 3 of those at some stage throughout the week. So I just divide it by 3, and each breast is in and around 150 grams. So 1.5 there for 150, 165 calories, 34.5 grams of protein. If you drop down here, you can see what else is in it in more detail. press correct. Now, then it comes down to what way you've cooked it. So if I fried this, or say I am doing like a stir fry, if I add my coconut oil and I use, say, half of a tablespoon, add that in. High in saturated fat, yes, we know. Then it comes down, so you can see there, mushrooms, onions, red peppers, squash, all these things are common in my diet. So if you randomly just add in stuff, so say you take a measure of cup, so say you do half a cup of chopped red onion. You can do either cups as the measurement, or you can do it in grams if you have kitchen scales. So then if I add in some mushrooms, I can do maybe add in 100 grams of mushrooms, add in some red bell pepper. So there we go, pepper, red bell, generic, 1 cup chopped, or you can do it in grams. So I'm going to say I add it in 100 grams. This is all raw weight as well of ingredients. That's what I prefer to input into. Okay, so I've gone away and quickly added in some random foods that I might have throughout the day, and I've managed to get my macros to 1,999 out of 2,000. That is way closer than I usually get it. And if you turn over, so I've gone away and added in some random foods throughout the day, and I've managed to get my calories 1 calorie off my goal of 2,000, and that never happens. And I'll show you now. If you go to the bottom and you go to nutrition, this is the page you want to be looking at. Now, so I managed to get my protein, I was over by 8, which is not. So yeah, as you can see, I went slightly over on my protein, over by 1 in grams, and slightly over on fiber. But that's fine, because if you're a woman, you should aim for about 25 grams of fiber a day minimum. So if you go slightly over, that's no issue. In general, if you go above or below by 5 to 10 grams, you don't have to worry about it too much. It's if you really excessively go over or under in anything that you should start to worry. So as you've seen before, I was within my calories. I hit my protein, I hit my fiber goals, and I'm within my fat and carbohydrates. So that's the main things that you want to look for whenever you go to the nutrition section of Myfitnesspal. Just check if there's anything that stands out that you're really low in, or something that you're really high in. For example, sodium is always a good one to keep an eye on, because you should aim to stick within around 2,300 milligrams per day. As you can see there, I was just under 2,000, so that's fine. You will notice that if you go excessively over on your sodium, that you might hold a bit, you might feel a bit bloated, you might hold a bit more water than usual. Same if you go with really high fiber foods as well. So just going back out of that now, back in through the foods for the day. Last thing that I wanted to say was that if you enter your foods as a raw weight, then consistently do that. If you enter your food as cooked weight, you weigh your food after you cook it, then enter it as, chicken breast cooked. Be consistent with what you're entering the food as. Same goes for like potatoes, same goes for dry ingredients such as rice. Be consistent with the way that you enter it, and put as much information as you can into the food diary so you can get as accurate a result as possible. Hope that helped in some way, and if you know anyone that's not sure how to track their food, or you think this would help, then please just give them a tag on this post, or share it. Thank you.